Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at the new GradeBook Grid. The new grid comes with improved performance and a new user interface. When you log into GradeBook version 17.1 the first time, the GradeBook Grid that displays to you is still the classic grid. At the top right of the screen, click Try New GradeBook Grid in order to see the new one. At any time on the screen, you can click Use Classic Grid to return to the old one. The first thing you may notice on the new grid is the cleaner, updated style. All the information you could access on the old grid, you can still access on the new grid, just the display is a little bit different. For instance, you can still add or view comments for students, and you can also add new assignments from the screen. It just looks a little bit different. You can still view and add indicators for late, missing, and excluded work. All you have to do is right-click in the cell of an assignment and you'll see the options that you can apply to the assignment. This includes copy marks and clear marks. Now, copying and clearing marks can be done from any cell and not just the first cell in any column. In addition to using the right-click menu, there are keyboard shortcuts you can use to set indicators, and they appear alongside these indicators. So for missing, you can use Control-M, late Control-L, exclude is Control and E, and exclude and post is Control-Alt and E. Notice that when you mark a cell with an indicator, words and/or colors display. If you're not sure at any point what a color on a cell means, you can look at the key on the top right of the screen. The default is for basic, and this includes late and missing assignments. But if you click the All button, you can see many other indicators. Any of the excluded statuses will have the word excluded in the cell, as well as the color listed in the key. The key also shows the icon that displays if you've added a comment to a student, as well as the icon that displays when you have a notification that you've sent through parent access to a parent. Now, in addition to the ability to filter by class, period, and view, you can also filter by student or student group using the Filter Students drop-down list. The Assignment Types drop-down list is now what controls which assignment types display. The View drop-down list now contains only the options for dated assignments and floating assignments. You still have the section at the bottom of the grid that presents the information that applies to all of the above assignments, and the ability to post marks and parent access too. This new grid also offers horizontal scrolling in addition to vertical scrolling. The next time you go into the GradeBook Grid, GradeBook remembers your selection and loads the new grid. However, if you switch to the classic grid and return later, it remembers that selection and shows you the old grid. Since this is controlled on a class-by-class basis, you may want to check out the Teacher Preferences screen you can access through the Teacher homepage to adjust the display for specific classes. The Teacher Preferences page can be accessed from the Teacher homepage, Administration section, and then set up Teacher Preferences. Let's take a look at that. So we're on the Teacher homepage, Administration section, set up Teacher Preferences. At the bottom of the Teacher Preferences page, a new section titled Mark Entry Options displays. Here you can use New Mark Entry if you want to set the new GradeBook Grid as the default section for the class selected from the drop-down list at the top of the screen. Or you can select Use Classic Mark Entry to keep the old grid for that class. Be aware that if you switch between these two types, it is recommended that you recalculate averages because student marks are calculated slightly differently in the two options. This applies to any screen on which you enter marks, not just the GradeBook Grid. The calculated averages in the new mark entry type are typically more precise than those from the Classic Mark entry type. Also note that while you have the option to keep the Classic GradeBook Grid right now, it will eventually be going away in a later release. So please familiarize yourself with the new one now. While much of the functionality is similar to the Classic Grid, the improved performance and user interface of the new grid will make entering marks much simpler and quicker. Visit the web help or the Teacher's Gradebook User Guide for more information.